again. We've finally fixed the problem. So just to recap on what it was doing, we would get to a point, tune the temperature of the ECU would get up, because most ECUs sit around about 40-50 degrees, and all of a sudden it would just like lose trigger. You'd watch the logs, RPM will go to 4.5, 5, and then just cut straight to 0, and then the engine would cut. We also saw other weird things on the speedo circuit, where the speed just before it cut, the speed went from like 180k or 150k or whatever we're doing on the dyno, and it shot to like 10,000k. We went through, we checked the wiring, we checked the earths, we checked the powers, we checked the relays, we put a new alternator on it, we put new triggers on it, still the same problem. Turned out it was ECU, we put a new ECU in it, fixed it. So what we are doing now, we've done all the partials, we've started doing all some of the low cam runs, got the fueling where it needs to be for VTEC off. We're targeting the boost at about 10 psi. We pulled, it was running 14 psi on the wastegate, we pulled the 15 psi, sorry, so we pulled the 5 psi spring out of it. It left the 10 psi in just to try and lower the boost, because it was kind of, even at 14 it was pretty crazy. So just to give us more range, because we are using a rotary switch for the target boost, so you know we can target 10 pound all the way up to say 18, 20 or wherever we're going to go. So yeah, now today is to do the main power runs, switch the VTEC on, get the fueling right at 70 kPa, and we're just going to tune the car at, so say that's 10 pound-ish. So we go 10 pound, and then 12 pound, 14 pound, 16 pound, 18 pound, and then just tune it on those target maps. And then our rotary switch, we can just do a range, very linear map, so then it will just target different boost levels at different, at whatever the switch is at, so you have full variable boost settings. But yeah, so that's it today, and PS can do some runs, we can talk about the tuning, and we'll go from there.
Putting some gas in the car like they used to back in the 60s. Dan didn't see the fuel lights on.
My girl is panicking right now because she didn't see that she was low on gas.
I didn't, you didn't.
She's on 1 mile until empty right now.
Oh my god.
Too busy looking at numbers.
So far so good?
I don't know, I just got here. I've been upstairs doing emails and bloody replying to Facebook messages and that kind of cool stuff. So he hasn't pulled it off the dyno yet, so it must be alright.
So we're at 260, so 262 kilowatt wheel on low boost. So on Freedom units, so 350 horsepower at the wheels. That's what we're starting with. So that's on 0.7, 0.8 kPa, so 10, 11 psi. We're just going to turn it up a little bit, and then you got a 0.8 kPa target. Plus, the other thing is you probably see here, I'm just ramping that in. It's not ramping in very hard, so I'm going to start ramping that in a little bit harder here, so that way it's going to come up there and then just hold flat, and then I'll just start working my way up, so flat, and then every 0.9, that's 14 psi, or 14.5 psi, 16 psi, and you just work my way up until where I think it's comfortable and where the intake temp's starting to get a little bit hot. This engine's been built to handle 1000 horsepower, so it's really going to be the limit of basically temperature on the intercooler, or it's going to be injectors, so we'll just keep pushing it until we run out of something.
actually refreshed my memory because it's been a while since I've seen one of those videos.
Liar! Liar!
But apparently you bought the Mia Khalifa edition of the glasses.
Did I?
Yeah. Apparently those are the same glasses.
Oh fuck, I don't know, I don't know. No, actually there is a story. I bought these, they're super dry, and I was like, yeah, JDM. Turns out they're from the UK, JDM style.
No, but like, now that you said it, Pierce, I see it now.
I can start an OnlyFans channel. I've been married longer than all three of you guys, so that's an excuse. So, we're at 1.4 bar, 1.37-ish. That's pretty much it. We're at 90% duty on the injectors right at the top, so, or 90.5. I'm not going to push it any harder than that. We're making just like 300 kilowatts at the wheels. Probably, it's definitely making more than that, because as soon as it gets up on boost, it's just doing burnout. So I'm going to put a bit of out grip on the front. Maybe just tighten the strocks at the front a little bit. Maybe even get Pierce to sit on it if he wants to. But mixtures are fine. I've got knock control in this car. I'm logging that. That's nice and smooth. Everything's looking pretty good. I had to put a little bit of timing out of the 1.2 bar map, just at about 6,000. It just got a little bit noisy for my liking, so I just pulled degree back there, which has smoothed it out a bit, which is nice. Yeah, between say 4.5, 5,000 RPM and at about 7,500 it's just doing burnout. So I just want to see if I can get it, get some grip into this thing. So, yeah. Could I steer your camera for a second, Pierce? Ladies and gentlemen. Yep. How do we zoom back? No. Look at this guy. Squished into the car. No room.
Oh, I'm not even that tall. Sure.
Right, so Jesus, turn that down. So we were struggling with traction. Pierce decided to sit in the passenger seat and film the dash, and I think that was just enough to give us that little bit of extra traction, and yeah, it actually ended up making 30 kilowatts more. Just with Pierce sitting in the car. Alright, well that's good. That's what we wanted to see. It's doing its thing. I'm happy. There's no knock. The mixtures are all on point. The timing's all nice. Yeah, that's good.
I think he can have his car back now.
So I think it's 310 kilowatts or something like that at the wheels. So it's on £20, but we're out of injector, I think, and we're at 90% duty cycle. So I don't like. I know some tuners go, "Oh, we're at 100%." You got to have a margin of error. So 90% is as much as I'm going to. I think we're also hitting kind of like a cam limit because torque after say 6,000 just falls on its ass. So if it had some big turbo cams in it, get a bit of airflow at the top end, that might help a little bit. But all in all, for the type of car that this is, considering that it's only a little EG Civic, 310 kilowatts, like this thing, it's struggling just to keep in, to stay on the dyno. So like, any more than is just stupid, So yep, we'll leave it at that. Good. So happy days.
Explain your shiz. Your shiz.
Shiz.
Yeah.
Shizzle my nizzle dizzle. Nizzle.
Right, Shizzler.
I feel better now I've had some food. How's it going, PS?
Good.
So we go from one famous Civic to one not so famous Civic as of yet.
And they'll make the same power.
This is a customer's car that has been shipped up from down the line. We are just finishing it off now with our stage 2
Plus-ish.
tune style thing. I'm not a stage guy. He is. I'm not. So it will be getting the stage 2 tune, but it's had our pro cooling package with our oil cooler kit. We've just done a downpipe as well, HKS intercooler that the customer picked up, and a Apexy exhaust. And we've modified it with one of our overpipes, like a true 3-inch one. We find most of the aftermarket ones that are 70mm or a little bit smaller, they seem to have a hard deal dealing with the girth of our 4-inch downpipe. There's just too much flow. So Dan's just gonna
Send it.
No, this car's going. He wants to do the South Island. Oh, I'm not sure. He wants to do.
It'll be the Playdown track tour of South Island. Is that the one?
I think he said something like that, and he also wants to do the street class for Time Attack. At this point, I just want to get the mechanical stuff done, make sure the car's happy, and because it's going racing, we've put in some Motul 1550 as well, the gritty sandwich plate with the 85-degree thermostat in it as well, so that massive oil cooler isn't just chilling it down the whole time. And yeah, couldn't quite convince him to go bigger turbo yet. He has had GTR problems, so this customer owns a GTR and one of these. And his GTR has been broken and cost him many yen. So we missed out on that one. Dobson's beat us to the punch. But yeah, we'll just get this one going, get it tuned, send the customer some results, and then have a look at a harness bar and it's done.
I wanted to touch on one other thing as well, since we're touching things. We've done our oil cooler package, as you can see. It's a nice big oil cooler. The reason, because people have asked about this, is why we recommend this over some aftermarket ones. I'm not going to mention a brand, but there is an oil cooler that sits down in here. So if you look at this little thing here, this is the sensing camera for the Civic, which unfortunately is...
Hang on. We must touch, and the reason why I designed the kit this way is because on our domestic market cars,
yes,
we have the camera. Radar, sorry.
Australia as well.
Australia, UK, America...
On some, it's an option.
And on America, I believe it's an option, correct me if I'm wrong, since we have some Bald Eagle viewers. But the Japanese domestic market car, again, it was an option, so you could get these like a lightweight edition in Japan, so they didn't have a few things. That particular oil cooler kit that Dan's talking about, there is nothing here. So you can't move this, you can't modify the front. On the front bumper there's a little piece of translucent plastic that sits there that's actually two-way, so the radar can see, or it can send and receive sine waves through it. If you touch, modify, even if you get this too dirty, it will freak the car out.
That's why we did that.
Yeah, when you fit said oil cooler kit, you end up with it sitting behind all of this stuff. You can't modify the grille here, so you end up, for anyone that's familiar with these cars, there's like a series of little holes. you only end up with this little tiny bit of airflow going to this cooler, so it doesn't really do 2 parts of FA, which is why I spent a bit of time coming up with this kit that we do. Couple of little improvements. It gets sandwiched hard up as we can to the AC condenser, so it's not like it's further away. So we're going with the whole OEM sandwich kind of philosophy. The closer you get them together, the air's got to go through it. It gets fed through the grill. So on these cars there's an upper limit and a lower limit, and there's like the nostril brow part in the middle, so air comes up and there's a big plastic piece that sits on the bumper which is scooping it at the bottom, and then there's a slit at the top which obviously cools the top part of the cooler. This is a dual pass cooler, so the oil has to go this way, it has to go back through it. And the other thing which we do that the other kits don't do is the lines that we use are all PTFE, which means inside the braid they're actually plastic, which means that they don't degrade. Rubber does degrade over time, you will have to replace them. These are a fit and forget part, these won't sweat through the line, so we do it that way just because it's just a more high quality line. We don't see the need to go to the crimp fittings. We believe that this is the way to go. It is, you can't see it, but behind here it is actually rubber mounted, so it's not going to fatigue, it's not going to crack, it's not going to do anything silly like that. And this is really heavy duty. This, like I said, is a cast piece, so if it takes a rock or anything to the schnoz, it will be sweet.
The other thing is that we have had some people question as well, is like, because it's sitting in the radiator, does it affect the radiator cooling? Well, the one thing that these cars actually do have is an water to oil cooler actually built onto the block, so water and oil is passing together, and if you can, oil is always going to run hotter in a car than water is. You know, oil in most of these is going to sit at 100, 110. You know, if you're
yeah, I've
thrashing
got mine way hotter than that, like to like 130s, 140s.
And so you're looking at 10 to 20 degrees higher on the oil. So if you can cool the oil down, then really the radiator doesn't have to work as hard. So it's all kind of comes part and parcel with the whole setup. So cool the oil, radiator doesn't have to work as hard, and then you get overall cooler temperatures.
We use a Koyorad for our kits as well. Our Pro cooling package seems to be the best fitting, best cooling radiator you can get. So that's
and good, and they're available. There is probably the only one that I'd say would be comparable would be the CSF, which is what HPD use on their race cars. But the thing is that
you buy those in New Zealand.
Yeah, exactly. Like we've ordered them on a couple of cars, but we're talking like 4 to 6 month waits because they're all generally made to order. And yes, it's not really available. Like, these Koyos are available locally, so if anyone wants to book it in and get our cooling package, we could have one of these kind of ready almost the next day.
Well, let's go and make some.
Yeah, let's put some fans.
Only fans.
Only fans.
Probably make more money.
Mia Khalifa is going to go do some chinning. So it's got everything minus the turbo. I was expecting around about the 280 something. We've obviously kept developing this file. We're cracking 287, three back-to-back runs. So if you look at it, so we did a 287, 287, 289, so it's pretty consistent. 234 is where it was factory. So we're looking at a, what's that? I don't know, 53 kilowatt gain at the wheels, and torque has gone from 417 to 530, so we're looking at another 113 newton meters on average. So yeah, we did 525, 530, 535, so taking the middle at 530, that's good gains. So but hey, we've been there, so it's probably something like a bloody broken record with these cars. We've done heaps of them, every single one that's been on the dyno has had a little bit of development. We've found different places where to just squeeze the most amount of power out of them. So, and obviously with our parts that we developed, yeah, this is pretty much as good as you're going to get on a factory turbo. You know, these cars with JP's one with the original turbo, you know, it proved the point when it was at the FL5 release day at Pukekohe. Everyone saw how quick that car was on the track, and this is going to be an equivalent. So, you know, if it had some good wheels, good tyres, good brakes, you know, this will be a pretty competitive all track car, which is what the guy's going to use it for. So we'll take it off the dyno, do some road testing, and yeah, go from there. Happy days!